Hello, please don't mind my face today. I haven't put any makeup on and I've realized when I set this up to stream that yeah, the light's not very flattering. If I do that, oh, that's better. Oh, I want to save that. Oh, okay, I think it's saved. Anyway, we'll wait until 5 past. I am a little bit late, so apologies for that. I just plugging my phone in. This is my lunch. It's been a crazy day. So for those of you who haven't followed me for a year, my kids' birthdays are actually back to back, and my youngest is having her birthday tomorrow, and then my oldest has her birthday on Saturday. And no, we did not plan that. So yeah, I've been busy, as I'm sure those, especially those of you who are parents, can understand. But once I get through this weekend, this month actually, I keep forgetting that we're moving house. Once I get through June, I feel like I'll be able to breathe. Just in time for my birthday, so my birthday's in July. So today we are going to do the cast on stitch. It could just be a little short video today. You will need a second needle, and ideally one that's longer if you have it. I have these milliner's needles that I'm going to use. If you don't have a longer needle, that's okay. I keep putting them back in the box because I really like the little box they came in, but I just need to buy the bullet and throw them out, and throw it out. So there we go. My little test tube jar of needles. So yeah, I'll show you the size difference. Hopefully you can see that. I'm trying to hold it up so that you can actually see. So that if I do that, you can probably see the difference. So we just want one that's a little bit bigger. So this one is the one I've been using to stitch almost all of the project. And this one is just going to help do one of the cast on stitches that we're going to do today. If you don't have it, I actually did the finished product without one of them. But that's actually why I know that having a longer needle is going to be helpful. So it's time. All right, I'm going to move my phone. Get that out of the way. Now, today we're going to use the light blue, which is 598. Yeah, 598. 578? God, I can't even read my own handwriting. I think that's a 7. Oh, I put it here. Here we go. 598. Yeah, I can't read my handwriting. And we are going to use all 6 strands. If you want to do a more like delicate looking cast on stitch, you can. Here's the finished product. And we're going to be tacking it on, but like you can kind of see, so it doesn't want to move. You can see the tiny little stitch there. Yeah, I'm just admiring my work. It's all right to do that, isn't it? I hope so. Oh, I just make sure that my phone's on silent. It's not. There we go. Can I get away with doing this? Not really. So I'm actually gonna do 4 strands. Mostly because I want to see what it looks like. Do I want to do 4 strands? No, I want to do 6. I want to do 6. Don't be lazy. I was trying to just use up some of the floss that I'd already pre-cut, but I won't be lazy. Get some more out. Grab my scissors. Use my guitar scissors. Yeah. So we're not going to use the bigger needle just yet, because we're going to do the top piece first. Oh, I've done a knot in my knot. Here we go. I'm trying to knot my thread. Okay. So what we're going to do is, it's basically just 2 cast on stitches. So, you know, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then there's one big long one is what we're going to use this needle for, just to help us have something to cast onto. So we're going to do the top first, and what we want to do is move our satin stitch over just a little bit, come up, and I'll move my phone in a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. And we want to go move it over just a tad, go in, and then come back up where we went in before. And then what we're going to do is, actually I need to move out, otherwise you can't see my hand. We're basically going to tie a bunch of little tiny knots, which is what the cast on stitch is. So we're going to go under, around, and then tuck the back side in. And then that leaves us with a tiny little knot. So again, a finger under, turn it over, and then we want to get the back side in. Hopefully you can understand how the thread is sitting when I do that. And then make sure that it sits next to the previous one. You don't want them to sit over the top. It's not easy to fix when it's something like that. You want to make sure that you keep your tension even. I'm going to count because I can't remember how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6, oops, 6, 7, 8. You can do as many as you want, but I'm basically, if I compare the distance between the start of, like, the last cast on stitch and where I've started to the distance between here and here of the actual bathers, or what do you call them in America? You call them bathing suits, sorry. I want to make sure that this is roughly the same distance as this. So that's 8 so far. We're going to do 1 more. So I have 9 little stitches, and you can see if I flip it over, you can see all the little stitches, but we want it to sit like that. And then I'm going to pull out my needle. I'm going to hold all of those little stitches in place. Just going to swap hands. Pull through. Don't hold too tight, but you want to just keep them all roughly in place. And then just gently, like, wiggle it down into place. And then we're going to go back where we went in before. And that's our first little cast on stitch. So we're going to do the same for the bottom, but we're going to do more stitches. So come up, and I've got a knot in the back already. It's best to let your needle hang between each of these so you don't get tangles, which I'm just doing at the moment. Because this does twist the thread quite a bit while you're doing the stitch. There you go. Through like that. And then just hold your finger in place. This keeps all your stitches on, like this finger keeps all your stitches on in place, but it also helps you to just lift the needle up off the fabric so that you can get this finger around. So I'm going to do it slowly again. So over the top, turn your finger over, and then you want this strand to loop over the needle. Now, because we're using 6-strand embroidery floss, it is very easy to catch the needle through the strands. So you want to make sure that you're not going, like, you're not piercing like that. Maybe you can see that. You don't want to make sure that you're not piercing through the thread, that you're actually going around the whole thing. If you're doing like a pearl thread, then you're not going to have as much of an issue. I lost count of my stitches, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to do at least 12, I think. 9, 10, 11, 12. Sorry about the noise. That's actually my vacuum cleaner upstairs. Just thinking, we'll do lucky 13. No, we're going to undo that one. Do 12. It is kind of hard to undo stitches with this. There we go. So 12, and then you want to pull it through. Sorry, my phone doesn't know where to focus. Pull it through just so that it's almost all the way pulled through, and then you can twist the little stitch so that the loops sit at the bottom of it. You might need to do some finagling with the ends, depending on how twisted up they are. But that's the second one. And then we just go back in where we went in before. So yes, this is like all loose and stuff. We are going to do some little tiny anchoring stitches to finish it off, just so that we can get it sitting exactly where we want it to. Now we're just going to do the other side. So again, we did 9 and 12. So I'm doing it about halfway down. To get the position that I want. 3, 4, 5, whoops. See, I've said whoops because this one here was not sitting in the right spot. Oh, that was just happily counting there. I'm going to make sure, oh, I've just dropped my needle, there we go. Just going to make sure 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. So that's 9. And we're going to pull it through. Pinch them all in place so that they don't go all over the place. Why is it not pulling through? There we go. We will never know. So see how this is kind of really loose? To get it to sit as tight as it can, you kind of want to have nails, but you want to hold all the stitches in place at the end and then pull. And that will do that last little tiny bit of tension. And then just go in. And then kind of, yeah, pinch and wriggle and make it your boss. We are the boss of our thread. So I'm just going to do the next one. So I have pulled the needle all the way through. The back of the end of the needle is at the back. That's okay. It is just makes this a little bit more wobbly. And I will need to like hold it in place now. 2, 3. And 12. And then just pull through. It is a little bit easier to pull through when you do it like that. It's so twisted up. I've got this trying to make a knot. There we go. And that's the top piece. So don't worry too much about how it's sitting. If it is a little bit curled up, that's all right. Now, just for safety, I'm going to trim off this cut. And I say safety because I like how those cast on stitches are. And if I mess up, I'm not going to worry about accidentally having to cut out those stitches and redo them. Alright, so our next one is going to be the big one. So I'm just going to swap my needle to my really long one. So I'll show you the difference between the two needles in length. They want to stick together. And that'll just help us have more space to wind on our cast on stitches. Like I said earlier, if you don't have a really long needle, that's okay. I did do my other piece with a normal needle. And now for this one we want to come up pretty close to where the top of the satin stitches are. And we do want this one to bend. So we don't want it to necessarily match the width between here and here. We want it to be a couple of extra stitches so that we can, oh my gosh, the vacuum cleaner's going crazy. Yeah, so we can let it curve, which is why we need all of this extra needle. So, let's do it. I'll try and keep count. I pulled the needle through so it's all wobbly. just remember to keep your tension the same throughout. So that's 22. I'm actually going to use the fact that I've pulled it out to gauge. Yeah, so we want to do a couple more. So we'll do 25. So 3, 24, 25. Cool. See how this is all twisted up? It does that. This stitch is prone to doing that. Now we just want to try and pull our stitch through as even as possible, but not pull it too tight because we want it to still like curve. But we don't want all of this like looseness here. And then we just go back in where we came out. Alright, and that one is going to look really funny when you put it, like lay it out, because it is excessively long. But our little anchoring stitches that we're about to do is going to help with that. So that looks good. Sorry, you get a lovely view of my arm there. Cool. Alright, so we're all done with the long needle now. I can put that back. The last bit is not part of the regular cast on stitch, but we're going to do just some regular little stitches that are kind of hidden to anchor it all down. So I am using a smaller needle than what I was using before. So this is the one I've been using most of the time. And this is the one I'm going to use now. So it's tiny. It wants to flick around for some reason. This is the one I use to make the feet. And I'm using one strand of the same color blue. I'm just doing a quilter's knot in it with 6 wraparounds so that it's a decent knot size. And now I'm gonna come up wherever you feel like you need to anchor down your piece, basically. So I'm gonna just poke in between some of the stitches so that it's invisible, basically. And that will make it sit exactly where we want it to. I just unthreaded my needle. That's pretty special. I'm still trying to thread my needle, I'm sorry. and that just, yeah, makes it sit exactly where we want it to. Now I'm just going to do the same with these ones. Where is the needle? There it is. So I'm going to come up in between and then just poke it where I want it to sit. So you can do like over here to make it sit down properly. Just anywhere you feel needs some attention, basically. And I think I'll leave it at that. Lovely. Alright, so that's what we're going to do today. That was a lot quicker than I expected. But I can't do any more until I've caught up on all the writing here. So we've done a little cast on stitch. We finished our bathers. Yay! So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that wasn't confusing or too difficult or anything like that. So over the weekend I'm gonna catch up on the rest of the stem stitch, and I'm gonna put a video on YouTube so anyone can watch it and get tips on how to do the more difficult crossovers. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you've been fine with the rest of the stem stitches, I would be surprised if you had trouble with it. But we have to do that before we do the next step. So yeah, that's all we're going to do today, and just a reminder that there's not going to be a stitch along on Monday. It's going to be on Tuesday next week. We're going to pick up, yeah, on Tuesday next week. So thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday. Bye.